Hi guys, very good evening. My name is Marceline. I've been handling this, the what do you call the revision of this particular module, because right at the beginning we are the people who are involved in the creation of this particular module. So understanding of this particular module was not very difficult. Um, Saying that, this time the case is very interesting. Okay, because generally you see, when you the case comes off with a lot of financial details, but this time the financial details are much lesser. Yeah, so so that means you'll have a lot of work to do. That is the reason. Okay, that is what it is. um, and this is all about banking industry. So I know most of you all are maybe not working in the banking industry, but there are enough information which you all can pick up with regard to the banking industry. Yeah. Uh, Now, before we go on, could you please confirm whether you all can hear me well in the chat? If I can, couple of messages saying yes. Right, great, guys. Okay, that's pretty good. Okay, so I can see that you all are listening to me. Okay, so I want the same enthusiasm to be right throughout, till whatever the time that we are going to cover up, because I have certain things to be covered today, because we'll be meeting up tomorrow also. So we need to be on the same wavelength. Um Now I'm also back after a couple of lectures and couple of consulting. So the time is very important, and I know you all are working. Probably you all are still traveling or maybe settled at home. Uh, so uh, go and, I know you all are on the mobile phones and maybe tabs and laptops. So if you all want water, go pick up water. If you all want to make tea, make tea. Do whatever. If you all want to eat dinner, eat. So we will go on. Okay. So try and manage and see whether anything specifically that you want, anything from me very specifically. I'll try to get on. So put it on chat. Probably I will check it out once we finish the session. Any special requirement that you all need. I generally prefer about couple of days break and then come back, but then this time maybe because of the time issue, that they wanted me to do it on the next day itself. So that's fine. Yeah. So anyway, let's see how well we could go off it. Um, when I said this case is pretty interesting, because there are a lot of things that you need to read. Yeah. So then a lot of areas that we need to cover. I'm not going to predict anything. Yeah, that's what I don't do. Yeah, I'm not going to predict anything. I'm going to open your thought processes, because I'm sure your the tutors or the institutes which are doing these case revisions would have done a detailed analysis, I believe. Okay, a detailed analysis, page by page, line by line. So I'm not going to predict anything here. I'm going to open your mind. I'm going to throw some questions at you all. So I want you all to come out, think of certain things, think of, build in your critical thinking aspect of it, and build in your innovative aspect of it to find certain solutions. Okay. So don't go with a fixed framework of your mind. That is my humble request. That is one of the reason, I suppose, the pass rate is also quite high. um, because I always say, don't go with a fixed framework, right? So when you go with fixed framework, you're bound to lose out time, right? So in case that that what you have prepared has not come, then you're totally gone. Okay, so to recover it will take about another 20-25 minutes. Then by the time whatever you need to do, it has gone. um, I want you to go through your syllabus allocation again. Okay, syllabus allocation. When I say syllabus allocation, on the case study syllabus, how much they have allocated for each area, how much they allocated for, now say for example for financials, how much they have allocated. Yeah. for governance, how much they have allocated. Go through that very carefully. Okay, that is, it's very important, right? Go through that very carefully, and accordingly spend time even in your examination. Yeah, that's my advice. Because there is a very specific reason why they have done that, because they want the emphasis to be go on, because you all have done your, guys, let's be open, okay? You all are expert in your numbers, okay? The financial, you all are absolutely killers, okay? So you all are good. There is no second question about, otherwise you can't come to this particular stage now. The the purpose of this particular case is is not only finance. You would see finance is a very small element. Okay, there is 80% outside, right? So then, uh, give that, have that particular framework in mind. Don't get yourself clogged down with that financial element. Okay, not that the financial is not important, but then that financial, that's one of the biggest mistake the students do, is like, they try to stick onto that financial element. Don't stick onto the financial element 100%. Stick onto the financial element, how much they've allocated. If they've allocated 20 marks, 20%, stick to that 20% of their time. Yeah, 3-hour paper or 4-hour paper. 3-hour paper means 180 minutes. 180 minutes means 20 marks. With your reading time goes on 36 minutes. Basta, that's it. Yeah, so 36 minutes, 35 minutes. Okay, push yourself to 40 maximum, not anything beyond that particular point. Okay, so that's what the workings that you're going to do. So prepare yourself early, right? Whatever, you all would know, because you all are the experts, okay, on financial elements of it. So look at the basics. Okay, look at the basics also. Look at the NPV calculations. Look at the uh, uh, mergers and acquisitions calculations. The basics, because that's what they are given you in the case indication in the cases. Okay, so prepare yourself on calculations on that particular manner. Yeah, uh, don't try to think of many things. They are going to ask you a consolidated balance sheet. Okay, I believe I think so. Okay, so I don't think that they are going to ask for a consolidated balance sheet of another acquisition and blah blah blah. No, I don't think so. Right, that takes about an hour, no, to complete it. So that's a different story, right? So they are not going to ask you that much, right? So think within 20 minutes, what are the information, because y'all are going to make the a strategic decision on the information available. That's it, isn't it? So you're not going to do that. For that you need some information. For that you need some workings on, right? For that you need to align yourself to get the workings done. So remember that, right? Remember that. Go through your Casify syllabus, whatever, and look into that. Number two, uh, now don't try to predict, this is that organization, this is this bank, this is Union Bank, this is that bank, this is uh, ABC Bank, this is PQRS Bank. No, okay, don't do that, right? Don't do that, because uh, they are going to give you something which is not real. Okay, they are going to give you something not real. They are going to give you something which is absolutely different things, right? uh, Chairman is not available. Chairman was not available even for Akan Spence. Okay, Steshani was handling it right throughout, and now she is the chairman, right? So bank, Akan Spence, I don't know, whatever. So you can't be looking for comparison. Don't do that. Work on your case, work on your case analysis, work on your case details, work on whatever the details what is available within that case, and also look for outside information, right? Look for outside information. They have given you about a sector analysis, they have given you about the banking industry a little bit. the background, the competitors, right. Look for macro details as well. Okay, I will show you certain things which I have done in some part. Think on that particular perspective. Okay, do not focus yourself as a uh, you know only as a chief financial officer. This case study is for a chief executive officer. Okay, think on that manner. Think on a more strategic perspective rather than solely on the financial aspect of it. Look on a strategic perspective. What will you do? Yeah, if this is your company, what will you do? How will you make the decisions? On what basis that you will be making the decisions, right? So what I'm going to do is, like, I'll be covering the fundamentals of this strategic management perspective, your syllabus, very quickly. I'm trying to work it out today and tomorrow on a, but that I will be doing it on a very quick manner, because those are going to be a recap. Okay, I'm not going to go into detail onto that particular area. So today, probably my target is to finish your first one, your strategic position, your strategic analysis part of it today. And also I'm going to touch on your, uh, any idea how many sections are there in your case study? How many areas are there in a case study? Can somebody drop a message? How many topics, or how many are there? Yeah, guys, I'm not moving the slide. Yeah, okay, great. Okay, so brilliant. Right, good. Somebody says 5. I don't know, maybe typing error. Right, 12. Exactly. Okay, so analyze the 12. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to go with 4. Okay, because those 4 major 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, that gives you a, a information overload. To be very honest, okay, absolute information overload, right? So I'm going to go with 4. So you could start building on that, okay, and probably you could see, like, what I'm trying to work things out. You have enough, little bit more time to get your act in place. Not to worry. If you're looking at a case for the first time, also don't worry about it. Okay, you can manage it. Okay, you can manage it, because have that confidence. Okay, have that confidence. You all can manage it. You all can definitely go through without any major has up, if you go with your absolute open framework, right? Go with option generation. That's a key. Okay, lot of option generation. Have, different thinking, different ways, different ways, that what are the options that you have with your SWOT analysis, what you need to do. That is a critical one. Okay, you need to have a SWOT in your hand, right? Probably you can take some papers inside, I suppose. So take your SWOT, what is there in this particular area. Analyze, get information, get details, right? So there are details which you can pick it up from the case itself. Uh, Yeah, good question. I'm becoming a consultant also for examination management. Okay, so how many days you have? 5 days. 5 days. How many hours you can spend on? 60 hours maximum, or 20 hours a day. Yeah, don't sleep. 4 hours maximum. So 5 days, 100 hours. If you have 200 hours, it would have been better. But then 100 hours is fine, as long as you focus and do it. Time it up on such a way. Break your days. Break a number of days on and that way. Yeah. So you can. Uh, yeah. Pass rate is absolutely not a problem. I like that, Madhuranga. Working working 9 hours in office. Yeah. So you better, while you travel, you better read your, search for information, read, take notes, do whatever you want to do. Okay, whether it is in public transport, or whether if you are in a private transport, ask somebody to drive you for work, or if it is, on the bike, you better get into a pillion riding and do some work and go, right? I know it's tough, but then probably, guys, it's time for you all to take a couple of days off and do certain things. Okay, so give priority. I know work is also important, but then this is also important, because the moment you pass this, your your people calling you will change. Okay, people calling you will change. So think on that, right? People will not call you as, assistant accountant or whatever it is. Okay, they will be calling you as a chartered accountant, right? So think on that. Okay, so that's the most important thing, right? So give the priority, work out your priority on your life. What is the priority? Work on that particular way. Okay, so pass rate is absolutely no problems, Ahmed. There is no cutoff point or whatever it is, as far as I know. Brilliant. Last time also there were about, I think, more than 70% or 67%. I can't remember. So that's a very very good pass rate, very good pass rate, and all right throughout there have been absolutely good pass rate. I think except in 2024 or 2023, a little bit of drop. Other than that, last year was very good. Okay, to be very honest. So don't um, don't do that, right? So yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I totally agree with you, Tehan. You will be called that. Okay, so think of that. Think of that. So to achieve that, that's what you all have been struggling for so many years, and you all at the last point. So to get that, spend the next couple of days focusing on that. That is what is required. That is what you want. Yeah, end of the day, that is what its requirement is. So you have to put your heart and soul, I don't know, whatever whatever else. Yeah, um, get that is what it is. Okay, so push yourself. Brilliant, brilliant. Yeah, I like this crowd, I like this crowd. Okay, very participative crowd. That's very good. Right. Okay. um, so that is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go certain things with the theoretical perspective, more covering, picking your knowledge to get that on. Because remember, guys, you have to support your evidence with that. Whatever you're working off with this evidence from the case, as well as on have a framework, on a theoretical framework that will be helpful. Okay, so that will be helpful for you to do. So the options, when you generate options, then you can easily say, how these options are generated, right? So those are the small tricks. Yeah, yeah, that is what I'm trying to work things out. Yeah, so let's see how it goes. Right. Okay. Right. Brilliant. um Right. So 12 topics. Absolutely. I totally agree with you all. So you all know the 12 topics, 12 areas, what you all need to focus on. Um, Certain things are, the best part is everything is unlike the last time case, which was like mostly some certain not relevant areas, but this time absolute relevant areas are there. Okay, so therefore that is what it is also puzzling me, like, how they are going to ask you that question, because there are so many options. Okay, um, do you think there are so many problems also in the case? Yeah, there are enough problems in the case as well. Okay, so enough. Okay, so yeah, absolutely. uh, List out those cases, list out those issues, because from your unseen, whatever you're going to get, yeah, you're right, Rukmali. Many, okay, many. But do you know where the fundamental issue is? There should be a fundamental issue. Yeah, there should be some certain fundamental issues with this particular thing. Um uh, oh, right, good. Now this is exactly the this is exactly the accountant's mentality, corporate governance. Yeah, corporate governance issue. Exactly mentality of your guys. Okay, so the examiners know, right? Examiners know that you all are going to go on that aspect of it. Obviously, okay, obviously, yeah. Sujit, I agree with you. I agree with you. Okay, governance issues are there. Okay, fundamentally there is, yeah, there you go, corporate governance, leadership. Yeah, exactly. Okay, yeah, business strategies. Yes, right. So these are things that, now how do we solve this off? How do we get these things now? What is the percentage? What is the uh, what is the percentage of in your syllabus, what is the percentage that they are given for your governance. So don't get carried away too much, okay? But that governance is not only the case what you are looking at, maybe your acting chairman versus the deputy CEO versus the CEO, and the split on the groups. Yeah. So 5%, 5%, maximum 10%. Don't get carried away. That's what I said right at the start. Okay. Don't get carried away too much. Don't get carried away too much. Yes, there is. Okay. Yes, there is. What happens, chairman comes down, she is no more the acting chairman, and she goes as the CEO, deputy CEO, or CEO resigns and she takes over. Chapter close. Yeah. Your governance issues close, right? So be careful, guys. Okay, so don't okay, have certain things in your mind, right? Have certain things in your mind, but then don't don't pursue too much on the line. And that's what I said, don't get your mindset fixed. Okay, don't get your mindset fixed, right? So move on that line, move on that line. I hope I'm challenging your thoughts. Okay, and be as it is. Yeah, technological changes, definitely there is. Okay, definitely there is, right? Okay, great. So this strategic management is fundamentally, we are looking at the three major areas. One, understanding the strategic position of the organization. Then we are looking at the choices that we make, um, and also the how do we manage the uh, strategy implementation. Now, I had a similar kind of a session with another institute, in the sense like another university, and that is the challenge what I threw to them. Um, even you take even Sri Lanka has an organization. Okay. I love that to hear, Sri Lanka Private Limited, but then unfortunately not happening. uh, Sri Lanka as an organization, we know where do we stand. Okay, we know what to do, but we lack that last part, isn't it? We find very difficult to put our the strategies into action. Yeah, I suppose you all are pretty highly educated people. Probably you will understand. That is where the issue is. Okay, that is where the problem is. So probably, um, as a case solvers, probably you all should give a definite way of uh, putting your strategy into action also. Yeah, don't give that overall consultants do that and do this, that nothing could work. Give some specific areas, specific reasons. How do you do that? How do you implement it? How do you work on it? Give some solid recommendations when you're doing that. Okay, because creation of the strategies is, to be very honest, guys, don't get panic. That can be done very without any problems. Have some um, have some creative ideas behind it. Yeah, exactly. Totally agreed, Tosita. Okay, totally agreed. Execution problem, absolutely right. So this is where any organization today, and if you see the organization which are thriving today versus organizations which are struggling, that is the bottom line. Implement, because there are people like you and others who are fairly decently educated, and they know exactly what need to be done and they know what to do, but they struggle to finish that off, right? So keep that in mind. That's a practicality perspective. Okay, the practical perspective. So strategic management is that you understand the position. You create some choices what you need to do of, and then you need to manage the strategy and in action to work things out, right? So now for that particular purpose, if you see, this is a model which I love to follow, and this is a model which you all have, you all are your syllabus is also based based on as well. Yeah. You don't have to have every single thing in this particular module. So probably we must relate whatever it's necessary into our case and what never necessary into the implementation aspect of it. Yeah. So if you look at the strategic position, the first one, the blue, the light, yeah, bluish one, not the purple one, the bluish one. Okay. So that is, it's concerned with the your external environment where you are, and also it's regarding your internal environment. So now this is where when you categorically understand your external environment, you would come in terms of your opportunities and threats. There are enough I suppose there are enough information with through opportunities and threats. From 1 to 4, I didn't see many, to be very honest. I'm not done 7, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm taking by one because I saw there are interconnected information available. But then probably I'm going to say as if I've done only 1 to 4. Okay, so I'm not so whenever I tell you certain things, don't think this is there in chapter 9, section 8. Why is not telling that? Yeah, I will not be saying it because I'm not gone to section 8. Yeah, that's how it's going. So I'm going to whatever the details is possible. I'll be giving you up to 1 to 4 whatever I have covered off, so that you can add. Uh, it's nothing that no issues, isn't it? Like you all have completely covered. Uh, to work things out. Yeah, you're right. I don't see your name 2014825. You're absolutely right. Yeah, strategic position is connected to internal environment also. Yeah, correct. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The second point is that in the strategic capability, the strategic capability is it looks at uh, um, Virakon, straightforward. Yeah, you could see why the reason that they are struggling. Nothing to hide there. Okay, uh, you all gave me the answers already, right? You all have given me the answers. You all have given me absolutely the right way. The answers are absolutely there. The organization not focused at all what need to be done. They are doing everything and they are running in one place. That's all I can say. So there is a mega uh, rift running between two people, and probably the cultural approach is very different, right? So uh, 12 topics I'm referring is your case. Okay, Siraj, 12 topics I'm referring is your case. There are 12 points, no? 12 areas, right? So that's what I'm referring as, right? So right. Uh, so then the third one here would be the expectation and influence of the stakeholders. Um, who are the stakeholders in this organization? Who are the critical ones? Who are the people? What do they expect? What do they want? What do they what are the areas that they are looking at? So those are things. Yeah, brilliant. Brilliant. Okay. There you go. Right. Resources and competence, using core competence and unique resources. Entity can go competitive advantage. Brilliant. Okay. There you go. Board, employees, stakeholders, some more, uh, your others, your management, your team. Brilliant. Okay. So that's what I said. I'm going to go at a little bit of a speed after this particular area. Yeah. Right. Good. 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 Right. Brilliant. 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 Okay. Good. I like this crowd. I like this crowd. They are you all are tuned in. Right. So four major areas they are looking at. Then you're looking at the strategic choices, which involves understanding underlying basis for future. Whatever you are do. So it can be from the business level aspect of it, and it can be from the corporate level aspect of it. Um, Business level could be for entities. You could see there are additions coming into your organization, not only the banks. There is acquisition taking place, so probably that would have to be managed separately as well. Yeah. Then developing both in terms of direction and methods of development. How do you want to develop? How do you want to move off with? Right. Um, so your strategic choices will be on business level, corporate level, international level, which we might not need to touch currently, I believe. Um, Looking at the innovation, what they need to do, that is what is required even when you're creating those strategies, and a little bit of evaluation knowledge, how this would help you out. Yeah. Um, right. No issues. No issues. Right. Okay. So strategy in action, the third area, third part would go into like, that's to put whatever the actions strategy what you're creating to put onto the action part of it. Yeah. That's your any structural changes, any process changes, and also managing any strategic change like your culture or anything on that nature. Right. So that's something which you need to uh, work it out. I want sorry guys. I want you to keep this slide. If you all want, you can take even a snapshot of this particular slide. Keep this as uh, a guideline, because now this is where the strategic creation would come into play, right? So you're looking at what are the environmental opportunities and threats. What are we seeing there? O and T. What are the organization's strength and weaknesses? That is your strength and weaknesses, SW. Purpose basic. They're very clearly given you the vision, mission, and the objectives, and the vision, mission, and the values they are given. Yeah, so that's a purpose why the organization is there, and also how does the culture fit the strategy. Now this is where I feel there is some issues. So the culture is not fitting. Culture is not happening. Um, Two people dragging from two sides, but then uh, the chairman does not have a problem, isn't it? Like he's enjoying, I believe. Yeah. Right. Okay. Then the next set of questions will be like, how should business units compete? On what basis? What basis the bank is competing now? Are they differentiating themselves, or are they going on a cost leadership model? Mm, I think they are trying to become on a hybrid mode. They want to give something on a lower cost also. They want to be more effective and efficient, um, reducing the number of branch network and trying to improve on their digital presence. Um, so guys, have a and look at the target audience that they are approaching. Okay, and also they are looking at the urban population, um, and try to address the rural aspect of it with the microfinancing element with the new um, annexure what they are taking in. So it's a bit of a complicated affair because it's very difficult to see what the focus that they want to go in with, right? What are the business to be included in the portfolio? Probably you can think of the products what they want to have in their portfolios as well. Where should the organization compete? Whether internationally, whether they want to move on, the organization innovating appropriately, whether they are creating new products, new elements. uh, I in the information what I've read up to now, in the sense like up to the fourth topic, I don't see anything new that they have created. Yeah, because it very clearly says that, like the other organization. So it's another must have. You know, there is no, somebody said dropped a message saying co. competencies. I don't see any core competencies that they have. Yeah, that's why they get that competitive advantage, which I don't see that is happening. So it is like a me too player. Yeah, I'm also there. Like the other organization, I also look, let's go for digital. Like the other organization, let me also do this. Like the other organization, let me also fight on this particular same red ocean strategy rather than think of any blue ocean strategies. Yeah. Um, so anybody who is not clear of the blue ocean, red ocean, read through. Okay, red ocean is where you fight in the same place where everybody is fighting. Right, blue ocean you create something new to you, do something very absolute different than others. Yeah, to work things out. Right. Uh, right. Yes, I will be sharing that, Shini. I'll be sharing the. I'll be putting across to the your uh, portal so you can pick it up. Don't worry. Yeah. Um, then we are looking at strategies are suitable, acceptable, feasible, SAF criteria, suitability, acceptability, feasibility, whether it is suitable to the your according to your purpose, according to your vision and mission, whether it is suitable, whether it is relevant to your stakeholders, acceptable by the stakeholders, whether the customers would welcome it, whether your staff would be happy about it. On a simple note, you can see the staff is not so happy about it of loss of jobs when you are looking at the your chief you know head person or whatever, um, uh, not fighting with the morale of the not very happy people are not happy because they know that they're going to lose their jobs and things like that. Yeah. So then feasible, whether you could get it at a reasonable cost, whether there'll be return coming in and so forth. Okay. The kind of strategy making process is needed, whether you want to do something urgently, whether it is going to short term or long term, where do you need to cover, what are the required organizational structures and systems. Yeah, that's something you might have to think about. How should the organization make necessary changes, and who should do the uh, who should do what is in the strategy process. Okay, so you must have very clearly understandable who are the people who are going to be in charge, who are the people who are going to work things out. Yeah, so something if you can answer these questions like fundamentally, then you're covering most of the areas. Okay, so that is those are the three areas what I just explained about the strategic position, strategic choices, and strategy in action. So these are the areas that we'll be looking at, right? um, so this is like fundamental for your uh, Kshatriya, yes, totally agree with you. Like they're focused on SME and microfinance sector have gained the trust of the customers. Uh, it's already been said, isn't it? Like they have already achieved that. So that's one of the questions what I wanted to pose to you all also, whether their vision is already achieved. So when once the vision is achieved, then do you need to continue with that particular vision, or you want to go something else, or do you have to redo the vision again? So that's a challenge which I want to bring it up to you all as well. Yeah, obviously they have already achieved that. That's what the case says. Okay, that's what the case information says, right? Uh, right. Okay. So on the strategic position, let's look at the. I'm going to quickly run through. Okay, I'm not going to work on it. So I'm going to explain in details. Right. Your on the macro environment, industry, competitor, and also whatever the within yourself where you are looking at the immediate competition to goes off with. Macro environment. Look at your pestle analysis. uh, Probably on your pestle analysis on the technological aspect of it. I will cover that off when you come to that particular area. Um, Political. Now you need to be very careful that different sectors in the environment are important, and they might impact the organization at different levels. Okay. Uh, Now, is there, will there be an impact on the financial sector due to the Venezuelan attack? Yeah. Um, is there any issue? Will uh, will our path to recovery will be disturbed uh, because of any statements released by any relevant parties? Yeah. These are new developments. Okay, what I'm talking about, these are current developments, right? Which I don't think that it has in the case, because this case was done some time back. Okay, so can you see, like, these are new information coming in, right? Now those are political aspect of it, whether, because that could have an impact on the financial sector, right? How is the stock exchange behaving now? Yeah. um, Now this we are looking at the investment purpose of it, right? So you have the details about, the investments what they have, right? So these are few things that, take into consideration. uh, don't just leave it a point where you say, sorry, I don't have any information with regard to um, the banking sector. uh, you can easily find a lot of information with regard to banking sector. Okay, enough information with regard to banking sector, right? uh, and banking is not only, they are not only looking at the banking sector, they are looking at the fintech also. Okay, so then it is both. So there is plenty of information available with regard to the Sri Lankan, finance sector. There is enough information. Okay, the central bank reports are easily available. A comparative analysis is also there are plenty of comparative analysis available. Okay, if you want to know a little bit more about the Sri Lankan situation, Sri Lankan sector, you can always log into cia.org. Okay, cia.org, and go to, that is the uh, CIA website. Okay, so they have their country website, country details, so you can go and look into the um, uh, country details on that. So they have the how much the foreign FDI is coming in, what is the recovery rate, how does it work. The the World Bank annually releases some fantastic reports. Okay, so there is access to 2025 reports, 2024 reports online. Okay, with regard to Sri Lanka, comparative, like, to South Asia. So they are comparing so many countries as well, so you can see um, how the country is performing in certain areas. Okay, uh, central bank reports are available with regard to the socio-economic aspect of Sri Lanka, right? Which might be relevant to you with regard to uh, the sectors what the banks are operating. Now you could see very clearly where do they want to operate, right? They are looking at the urban, middle income sector, like, and you can see the uh, per capita income, how much is coming in, what is the percentage of expenditure going in, what is the percentage of savings. So you can have a rough idea about how it goes off with. So there is enough data available, guys. Okay, so you all have to convert that into a little bit of a useful data for you all to work things out, rather than saying I don't know anything about banking industry. You don't need to know everything about banking industry. Okay, nobody will know everything about banking industry, right? So I'm sure even the people who are working in the bank also might not know about the banking industry, right? Because nobody's interested to know about the industry, what is happening in that industry. And especially the accountants like to know the black and white, how much money coming, how much money going. Yeah, simple as that. Okay, nothing else, isn't it? Am I provoking you all? I want you all to be provoked. Okay, you all have to be CEOs, not CFOs. Okay, so think of CEOs. Think on this case also as a CEOs. Okay, so look into the business perspective. Look in how they operate. Look in how the things are working out. Okay, don't only stick on to your numbers and your rupees and cents. Okay, you have to make rupees and cents, but then not don't stick on to that, right? So that's something. So realize that there are at different times that things could happen. Now here you could see, as far as this these EB is concerned, they have a issue with the economic. They have already indicated that's a threat, isn't it? It's an issue. It's an issue because the economy is not doing pretty well, right? But still it's surviving, right? Still it's surviving. So that's a good part. But then economy is not supporting it, right? The technology is well advanced, and you have some very old, systems which are not supporting at all. Like even with your now this is where the problem also comes in. Before you go and amalgamate, or before you go and buy a merge with someone, that's something that which you'll have to look into. Also the risk management aspect of it, your whether your technology matches. Yeah, if your technology don't match, you are not going to get that synergy what you expected to get, right? So and to put that in right place, you're going to spend more than whatever the acquisition cost. Okay, so that's where the things goes on. So you have a technological threat, right? Your others are improving, others are moving fast, and you're not done anything with your technological perspective, right? So that could be a weakness, and there's a threat on in terms of technology improvement has not been incorporated, right? um, there is a legal kind of an issue with your uh, you know a whistleblower coming in, and that kind of a situation is also there, but it's not too bad. Okay, but it's not too bad. Environmentally, I don't see any major concerns. Environmentally, all supporting, so probably you might have a better footing on that particular perspective. Then social aspect. Now, uh, once again, looking at their target audience is something that you might have to think on that particular area, right? You have to think on that area, how that works, right? Um, right. So I can see some notes coming in, the questions coming in. Hang on for a minute. Right. Whoever who has asked this question, just a minute. I'm just reading it off. Yeah, Kasan, your thought process is right. Except the portfolio analysis. Portfolio analysis would go into probably your internal environment. That is to identify, like, what are the products that you have, and that is, so that will go into internal perspective rather than the external aspect of it. Yeah, yeah, your thought process is good, right? Uh, right. So the key drivers would be, whatever it's impacting, um, whether the success or the failure of your strategy, whatever you are going to do, whatever it's going to impact. Okay. So I could very clearly see that there is a issue with um, I could very clearly see that there is a, cultural issue coming in, so that might have a impact. But then that's a internal issue as well, because strategies should be supported with your culture. Okay, uh, whatever the way that you're going to work off with, so that should be supporting here. You When you have two parties pulling on both sides, and probably another horse in the middle. The organization is like driven like a triokia. Yeah. So one horse is running, balancing both sides, and one side you have Ranmali, and other side you have Udesh, and those are like, maybe if there is no power in the middle, if it is not sufficient enough to control both ends, then the chariot might be uh, gone into three pieces. Okay, so you need to be careful on that, right? So if you look at the macro environment, that's what we saw. The industry aspect of it, if you look at the five forces and also the industry life cycle that you can think of. Industry life cycle is not very difficult, but then you're at a more of a mature stage. So looking at these elements, identify uh, who are the new. Is there any possibility of any new entrants coming in? I don't think so. Um, Already you have flooded in a small economy. You have about 24 banks, if I'm not mistaken. Correct me. So you have enough evidence over there. Then Uvini, I like your thinking. Governance allegation being posted in media would impact customer trust. Uh, yeah, uh, possible. So that might hinder the customer trust. So that could be a probably, yeah. Your thinking is right. Maybe it could be on a social factor. Um Even that could be listed as a weakness as well, so you have something ridiculously that you're not followed the governance issues, so that could be turned into a threat also, right? So far they are not talked about anything. uh yeah. Yeah, totally agree, Gaishan. Neobank and fintech. Yes, I would be talking a little bit on that as well. Yeah, neobank and fintech is you're absolutely correct. Uh, Now this is where you're looking at a not only the banking industry, you're looking at the extended version of that particular financial industry as well, isn't it? So it's going a little bit broader. So yeah, you could take that as well, but for the moment, the threat is not so high. But and also these banks have to have their mother bank link as well in certain cases. So they go through something element like the like freebie, if you look at, yeah. So it's a same organization try and like come with a newer style, so that's how it goes. Yeah, I would try and do that. Yeah, I would try and do that. I'll try and explain what it is. Yeah. give give me I when I come to that particular area, I will speak to that. Right. So your suppliers, uh, people who supply with funds, probably your investors could be taken as the suppliers to for the funds purposes. uh, and also anybody who is supplying any technical aspect of it, technical perspective. So are they demanding certain things? So probably you have enough uh, power over them, so you probably have to rate that. Okay. um, any substitutes coming in, um, unauthorized people, your Havla connections, those are substitutes. Okay, so they are illegal, but then the people who are giving loans, the people who are giving money on mobile phones, 80,000 rupees, they give it like without any major issues. People don't realize 80,000 is actually it's 100,000 rupees that you get for 80,000 rupees. Yeah, that is how it works. Uh, Anyway, high risk, high return for them to go. So there are so many people who have got caught. I don't know why there is no action taken against it. Um, the Somebody should that's this is my view. Okay, somebody should sue some you know uh, critical. Um, I don't know, the people who are sharing the data. Yeah, people who are sharing the data, they should critically sue them for massive amounts, and at least thousand odd people should follow suit, and those companies should really must be brought in who are sharing this data information. Okay, so it's not worth. Okay, I can there are companies which can provide, there are people who can provide 5,000 emails for you for 2,000 rupees, 2,500 rupees. Okay, so just imagine the way the things are. Those are active emails. So it's very anyway. That's your data issue. So the buyers who you have, whether what's their threat, how it works off with, uh, then yeah, Gaishan, you're right. Digital wallets are there. Like there could be substitutes to go on, but they are linked, isn't it? They are linked with some banks. They are your cards are linked. Yeah, so that's how it works. So main banks are there. So main mother banks are there, right? And competitive rivalry is pretty high. We have seen that in case they are talking that competitive environment, rivalry is so high, etc., etc. Yeah. So do analysis. Is it industry is interesting or not interesting? So probably you can pick up. Try and pick up. Don't assume anything. Okay, pick up for this information from your case itself, as well as from the external aspect of it a little bit, but then there are in the case there are enough information as well, so pick it up from the case itself. Okay, so rather than digging certain aspect of it. Yeah. um, yeah, Kasun, pretty good analysis that you have done off with. The 40% belongs to large 10 customers. Definitely, there's a high risk, high power involvement on the other side for that particular 10%. Sorry, 10 people. Now, you need to be aware who are those 10 people are. Yeah, a little bit knowledge on that, the ten people, how they are connected with the bank, so that's also very important, because the way the things are, way the things would go, so depends on that particular area also. So have a idea, dig some detail on that, and have that information. Very good. Right. So looking at the industry life cycle, probably uh, I believe still we are on a little bit of a shakeout period. You can see still there are foreign companies which are moving out and moved out from certain areas, certain portfolios. Yeah. So their individual accounts are being closed and handed over to local banks. They are on the corporate, so probably they're on a shakeout period. You can see that. Um, and probably they will settle down. Still, I don't think that we are on a mature stage. We are uh, still on that particular level, so you can see the type of pressure, type of forces that you might bring in. So you can see the low growth and standard products. That's why there is no innovation. There's nothing new coming in. So people are now looking at the investment products, because investment products are not very known to people, isn't it? Like only what we know is the FDs. Okay, nothing else. Okay, so then probably that's a reason. Certain banks are now promoting the investment products. So that's something that you might have to think about, innovating on new products and so forth, right? So that's very um, that's critical. That's important. Yes, Virakon, good question. I'm not done now. That's why the issues also come in. I'm not gone into that particular detail yet, so I will not be able to comment straight away. Let me uh, post this question even tomorrow. Yeah. So anyway, I'll keep this in mind. I will take these questions and I will try to work things out. Uh, yeah. Good question. Good question. Yeah. Right. So the immediate competitors, you have some numbers, good numbers coming up. On the next slides, coming slides, I will show you all. Anyway, when I go a little bit later. So your strategic groups, your market segments, and your strategic customers. Now, here probably the talking point would come in. So your strategic groups are the organization within an industry with similar strategic characteristics, following similar strategies or competing with similar bases. Now, in the banking industry, tell me, uh, similar size of your bank, how many banks are there? Um, Similar size, similar category, because there are so many banks. Okay, there are so many big banks are available. They are given you in the detail also, isn't it? Like they have given in the in your case also they are given about the organizations, right? So hang on for a minute. I'm just going into details to see. Hang on, guys. Okay. Amana, Bank of Ceylon, Papers Bank, they have 669, 752. Now these are branches, okay? HNB 248, Commercial 274, Sampat 231, Ceylon 171, Union Bank 61, Pan Asia 86, NTB 94, DFCC 139, Cargate 24, NDB 113, Sanasa 94. Now these are licensed specialized banks. Okay, Sanasa National Savings Bank 268, State Mortgage 25, Corporation Bank of Sri Lanka 39, Sri Lanka Savings 4. Then you have the Pradesha uh, Sangvardhana 276, and then there are foreign banks 41. Yeah, so that's some figures what I got. I can that I will show it to you later. Yeah, so you can see uh, similar categories. Uh, Amana, but of course that goes a little bit of specialized bank. So you could see that there are few areas, but the only thing is like the when you're talking about the strategic groups, when you look at the strategic groups, you have to look at who are the people who are competing on the similar basis, right? Uh, so you might not be able to compare yourself with Bank of Ceylon, People's Bank, Commercial Bank, um, because number of branches that you are reducing, you have gone into 43. Um, so uh, then probably you might have to look into the second tier of the banking industry, like the numbers what you're looking as well. Okay, so there'll be your strategic group. Obviously, the bigger banks also your competitors. There's no second question. Okay, but the strategic group when you talk about, so you're competing with them, and also you can even narrow it down further by looking at where these guys are operating in the area where you're operating, right? Where you are operating, where you want to work things out. Okay, so now this is something which you might have to think about, right? I've given an example totally out of your case, but then to make yourself clear. So the five-star leisure hotels are the strategic groups, because in Colombo, let's say Colombo, you have so many hotels. Okay, so Cinnamon Red being a 3-star plus would not competing, they it will not consider itself in the what do you call strategic group of the 5-star group, that is like Hilton, Shangri-La, Taj, you know, Cinnamon Blake, Cinnamon Grand, that group is totally different. Okay, uh, because then Cinnamon Red might consider themselves with probably Renuka Global, whatever the hotel chains down on the 3-star category down Marine Drive, uh, things like that. Now, say for example, a boutique hotel like Tintagel, they might not even compare themselves with Hilton, yeah, because they will be catering to a totally a different clientele like y'all. Yeah. So y'all would be catering to a different clientele. That's what they are looking at. Okay. So think on that nature, right? Mm, so your market segment is very clear, isn't it? Like, you want to, your, what do you call it? Uh, yeah, your vision mission very clearly stays to all. Yeah. Serving for all, but then you're focusing, um, you're focusing on something else. Yeah. So you're focusing on mm, your mission very clearly says growth and financial well-being through banking for all. Yeah. And your vision is like to the bank that communities trust the most for providing a wide range of financial services. Yeah. So nothing very interesting, but then I saw certain areas where you want to um, uh, log in and details as well. I'm just looking at, just a moment. Give me a minute. I'm looking at that particular area. Yeah. Unserved rural areas. That's they want to go with that particular acquisition, but then they are looking at urban, um, middle income people. Yeah, whatever. So try and let me get the details. So they are very specifically talking about certain market segment that they want to capture, market segment that they are working on. So have a idea on that particular area also, and where you can talk about little bit more about why only that particular area. They can even on your strategy creation, you can think of moving into a different area, because your urban population still in Sri Lanka, it's about 19.9%, if I'm not mistaken. Okay. So that's something that you all can think of. Strategic customers, now probably your 4 people can come on very critically here. in people who have invested, so probably they are your customers also. So your the 40% of investment can be considered here. So you have to probably, when you analyze your stakeholders uh, on your Mendelov window, do analysis and identify where these guys are becoming very critical. So you might have to, they will have more interest and they'll have more power, so they become key players. You have to keep them in good books. Yeah, so remember that. Strategic gap is the area where neither your competitors have gone in and you have not gone in also, right? Neither your competitors or you have not gone in. So there are many area. Uh, Strategic customers could be, uh, target customers also could be considered, but fundamentally the present guys who are uh, who who can create some changes in your strategies, who have a pretty important impact, whom you have to take care of mostly. That's how your strategic customers would go in, right? So that's something which you have to consider. Yeah, thanks for that. Retail, small, medium size, middle income, urban, and semi-urban population. Yeah, that's what I was searching for. Thanks for that. Thanks for that, NH. Yeah, so that's great. Uh, right. Yeah, I just want to give you that example of how you identify that particular area. Um, that strategic gap is now we are going with so many banking normal normal services and products and services that you are offered in the banking sector. Is there any particular area which is not been offered, any area which is not been considered, or anything where you can position yourself, anything where you can push yourself into? Yeah, now say for example, this is outside that banking thing for you to understand. If you look at the toilet soap market, you will find most of the soaps are clustered into one particular area. The same pricing, same features, same pricing, same models and things like that. Like your, your Lux, your Velvet, your Diva, your, I don't know, Diva is not a soap, um, but then you have something lower than that also, and you have something very high. Now, how much is this, Lux and Velvet, and how much are those? I can't remember. I'm not bought any soap. So let's say 125 rupees, 150 rupees. Okay. Then you have something little above, probably, correct me if I'm wrong. You have the Dettol range, maybe a little bit higher than this soap. Then you have something furthermore higher, your Dove. Dove is how much? Dove is like 300, 400. I don't know. So if you see, there's a gap between that 160, 170 range to 300 range. There's a gap. So probably Palmolive, Imperial Lather would settle in a little bit higher than these, what do you call, your uh, Dettol range. But then there's nothing between that and your Dove. So that is the gap that, called the strategic gap, where even the competitors are not operating at the price points. So now if you could map it out, the products what is being offered by you and your competitors, and then see, is there any particular range, any particular price point, any particular service point that nobody is there, or very very few are attempting to be there but they are not there. So probably you can place yourself over that particular point. So when you're giving your recommendations, you can always put those details in. doing a strategic gap analysis to identify any particular area which is not being covered by anyone, right? Which is not being covered. Now, say for example, uh, you know, years back, probably if I'm right, okay, if I'm right, even the children's account was started by Ceylon Bank. The ladies account was started by Ceylon Bank, if I'm right, okay. Even the travel card was started by Ceylon Bank. They never sustained it. Other banks took it and now running, as if they are products, they are the leaders or pioneers or whatever it is, they are managing it. They copied it. But they now these people identified those gaps, yeah, for children, for minors, right? So probably you know the these banks, so state-owned banks should have had that minus account, but nevertheless, you know, identifying that particular gap and promoting it out, so where you can score very well with your clientele. Because of that, even the parents started opening up accounts for them because it is much more convenient for them to give a standing order from that their account to the children's account. Yeah, so that's how you lock in your customer base. Yeah, that's how you work things out. Right. Let's move into this strategic capability aspect of it. That's your second area. So your capability would come with your resources and your competencies. Now, don't get confused, guys. Some textbooks call this interchangeably. They call it strategic competencies, which they say your resources and capabilities together. Okay, so don't get confused with that. So whatever you're using, you can say, strategic capabilities, uh, which comprises both, right? And probably if you really want to explain or whatever it is, you can say certain textbooks goes as strategic competencies, but it's interchangeably they use this capability, and just adding a couple of words, don't you all don't lose anything, so just add it on. Yeah, right. So let's look at some important one, your resources and competencies, and which you need to survive and prosper, right? Which you need to survive and prosper. So now, if you look at basic things like your tangible and intangible resources. Now, and especially with the banking industry, this tangible and intangible resources would be a real question mark. Now, your cash is what? Tangible or intangible? Your employees are what? Tangible or intangible? Yeah. How do you define tangible? Where you can touch and feel. So you can feel the touch and feel your cash. Money, you can touch and feel, right? Or people also can touch and feel, right? Your employees, you can touch and feel. But are we getting the touch and feel from them, or are we getting the, you know, uh, cognitive aspect of it, right? Their brains, right? So therefore, what they did was like they did that into they categorized into four areas. Yeah. So there's resources they categorize into four areas. They're talking about. Right, I'm just looking at the messages which I have done. Yeah, I like that work. Only thing is like you might have to be a bit careful about your for the moment where your salaries are being paid 2 days prior before the salary comes in. Um, the banks might face certain issues because Sri Lankans are pretty smart one way. I'm not going to promote anything here. Number two, you need to be careful about that. Those banks also, uh, because yeah, they might give you an advance, but then they might they can even hold everything back as well. Okay, so you need to be careful, right? You need to be careful. I have a I had a very nasty experience with one of the foreign banks. Yeah, where they made a mistake and they blocked my money. Yeah, so it's very uh, next day itself I closed the account. That's a different story. Yeah, no more. After after working with them for 21 years. Yeah, okay. Uh, no, their mistake. They lost my KYC and they blocked my card. They, in the sense like the card I was using for withdrawal also. They blocked my card, so I could not withdraw. They held on to the card, and they were like, as if I have done some criminal offense. Okay, so I just closed it up, yeah, and transferred it off. No, that's not on. So you need to be careful on that element as well, yeah. So physical resources, financial resources. Now it is much easier. Okay, so you can divide those critical ones. What are in question? You can divide into these areas. So once you divide, then you can see very clearly what are the threshold ones and what are the core ones, right? So this is what right at the beginning somebody was talking about. So threshold resources, um, which you have to get on threshold capabilities, which is like everybody has it. So whatever I'm seeing, whatever I've read in the case, they are talking about even their transformation on the digital transformation is like it's going to be a threshold one. It's not going to give any competitive edge because everybody is having it. Everybody is having it. Whereas the unique, whether if you have any unique resources, yeah, or if you have any core competencies, those are the things that will give you that competitive edge, right? So it might not be easy for a probably getting into a matured stage in your life cycle where it might not be easy for you to have something very unique, you know, that that gives you a competitive edge, right? Now, say for example, how many people still believe they want to go to the bank to do transactions? Yeah, how many people, and with UPI coming in, I believe everybody would go with that payment scheme as well, right? It'll be much easier, right? I'm all out for that, to be very honest. uh, Much easier. So visiting to a bank might not be totally not necessary at all, unless otherwise you have even that also, if you want a letter or something like that, you can always uh, send them a mail and ask them to keep it ready. Yeah, so now that possibility is there. You don't have to go unless you want some physical document. Then probably you might have to work on that. Even that you can print out your own bank statements and everything. uh, it'll be a time that when even the embassies might want these letters, bank balances, all could be you could give them a temporary you know temporary access to look into their bank balance only, yeah. And so it might, no, those are possible aspect of it, but then you have to be careful about your personal data and things like that, so that's why it is not been considered, but then it is possible. So try, if you work things out with your case. Um, I struggle to get these core competencies and unique resources, to be very honest. I struggle to get. Okay. So far, not yet, right? Probably with other areas, maybe I might find something, but then what are the competitive advantage that you're going to have? How are you going to work things it out? Yeah, how are you going to get these things worked out for you, right? Yeah. BOC physical bank is a must. Yeah, because they have so much of branch. They don't want to lose their because probably their unions are very strong, I believe. Yeah, so they would want to keep their employee base. You know, that's how it works. So to give you a little bit more explanation, if you're looking at threshold resources, uh, are the resources meeting your customers' requirement, minimum requirements, and your threshold competencies, activities, and processes need to meet your customer minimum requirement. Now, say for example, like opening up a bank account. Every single bank would do that. They have their forms, they have their processes. You can open up a bank account. Okay. Now it is much more easier, but couple of decades ago, like opening up a bank account, it might take about at least 2 to 3 days. Now, of course, like over the counter, you can get it done, right? So everybody even advertises like you can get it done while you go to airport also, yeah, something like that, whatever. As I said, on the unique resources and core competencies, you can see what do they have, something that others don't have, resources that underpins that competitive advantage. What are the competitive advantage that they have? Uh, the only thing what I saw or read was that they uh, they're trying to be more efficient, right? They want to be more efficient. So everybody wants to be efficient. So that is everybody is having it. So probably those systems now they have introduced digitization is like they it's a necessary that it is not if they don't have then there's a problem. So since they don't have, that's why the cost has gone up. So probably when they have it, the cost might be lower. But then the transformation is very important process that they need to manage. Cost efficiencies on the other aspect of it, the supplier's cost, the product design, the economies of scale, and the experience. Uh, we have seen not very clearly that the staff turnover is happening, and they are not happy with the the transformation which is taking place with the digitalization, fear of jobs, right? Fear of job losses. So probably the experienced people might leave, but only thing is that experienced people also must understand that every bank that is happening. Yeah, every bank that is happening. The knowing the Sri Lankan banking industry structure, it is there is no very very good senior management teams. Now that is the reason that most of the private banks are keeping their people who are the staff who are retired also, they're keeping them with the contract signed up, uh, even after 57 or 58 or whatever the age that they are supposed to go on, they're increasing as well. That's simply because the population growth is skewed. um, the youngsters coming in, there's a gap between, because of the migration, the capable, that middle management category which would have been replaced, that senior management category has migrated. That migration now it is slowed down a little bit. You go to World Bank reports, you can identify those. Okay, so now these are the technical issues that you might face. So then what do? You have to keep those people in the right books, right? The product designs need to be absolutely user friendly, easy to handle. Then probably it can reduce cost. Obviously that is also been said in your case. Yeah, so that is something that we can accept it of. Economy of scale, number of people who manages. Yeah, so the staff numbers, the you can see the reduction in your in the branch numbers also. So you're trying to work with few branches, the similar numbers, so probably you're serving a higher number of staff with lower number of branches. So probably the branches also, there will be people who are moving out because of the digitization taking place. So probably that will cover that economy of scale as well. Yeah, and the cost of what you pay to your staff is reducing. So you could see that cost efficiencies, that they are working something, they are attempting to work something out best to get something relevant, right? Right. Now, probably you're going to study the Rio model, but then this is like something very similar to Rio. Um, that SZO, actually organization. Um, so, do you think we look at the customers look at the value point of it, whether whatever the services or the products what they are providing, whether there's a value in it, yeah, whether it is rare, yeah, whether it is unique, whether it is transferable, whether it is sustainable, whether something that they are doing. um, in your case it doesn't say anything on that nature. Yeah, there is nothing uh, very unique about anything else. Now you put yourself, forget about this particular case, you put yourself with your bank. I'm sure you all have your own bankers. You put yourself with your bank and see whether, why are you operating with that them? Is it for convenience? Is it because you don't want to change the bank? Yeah. Or is it because that already they have blocked you by giving you a credit card and also a housing loan and also a car loan, and now everything is like, going there, and now it's very difficult for you to change from that particular point. Yeah. So isn't it that some that their services all same, like every bank is providing quite similar services and so forth? Is there something new that sorry, new that they want to bring it in? So is it rare? Now this is where the competitive advantages comes in. Now commercial bank, I have nothing to do with commercial bank, but then commercial bank coming with UPI, that something would give them a competitive advantage. Yeah, others will follow suit, I believe. But then, you know as the first timers, the people, the commercial bank account holders could pay through UPIs, right? So which if they can promote it properly, because guys, in India, even a photocopy of 1 rupee, they call it Xerox, 1 rupees or 2 rupees is paid by GPI. uh, the guy who is cutting the fish in the fish market, who charges 20 Indian rupees, also he shows his QR code. Okay, the old lady sitting on a payment, selling kadale and whatever, the frying things or whatever, is also shows a GPI. Yeah, they are UPI payments in GPay or whatever, right? So that has reduced the pickpocketers in India tremendously, because nobody carries cash now. So everybody try to target their mobile phones. So, but everybody is careful with their mobile phones also. Yeah, once in a way, then you lose, but then even you lose it, like, there are ways that you can protect it. So now these are the complete social changes which takes place. So is can EB take the lead? Yeah, EB can take the lead, follow suit the uh, uh, join with the fintech companies and work things out in that manner. Yeah, so these are things that is something which is required. Yeah. uh, Whatever the products that you worked on, at least if you should have something to work for a short period of time, that you know short period of time, that you should be able, others should not be able to copy this product. I'm sure commercial bank would have blocked it for some time, other banks to get in or whatever it is, but then at least so that will give them some kind of a temporary competitive advantage. Yeah. Any substitution which can come in to substitute those products. Yeah. Any is the organization is ready for those products to be launched. Yeah. Is the organization to be ready for the products to be launched? So these are few things that you might have to uh, you can consider very closely. So with that, probably you can look into your value chain. Uh, you can look into your activity maps. You can look into your benchmarking, and also then finally you can combine all these things into your SWOT matrix. SWOT matrix is a combination of your external and internal analysis, guys. So it is not only, don't isolate, like it's not a, it is a corporate analysis. Okay, so it's an organizational analysis totally. It's not a internal analysis. Remember that. SWOT is a combination of internal and external analysis. Right? A lot of people make that mistake, saying that is an internal analysis. It is not an internal analysis. It's an organizational analysis, right? Because it has the external factor as well as the internal factor also. Value chain. Now it might be a little bit tough because Michael Porter, when he developed this value chain, he targeted the operational aspect of it. But this could be converted into a banking sector as well. Okay, this could be converted into a banking sector. On web, it is available, right? So you go and type to see, Porter's value chain analysis as a on a banking industry. Yeah, so you would find, the what do you call, modified version of this. So this, that you can modify it accordingly, but then the basic things has to be there. Your inbound logistics, operations, outbound logistics. Generally, what happens is on a service sector like the banking, you have all three similarly taking place, right? Then you have your marketing and sales and your after sales service, whatever the after sales service that you are providing off with. Then you have your procurement, your human resource management, your technology development, and firm infrastructure. Those might be very relevant and important into the banking industry as well. Okay, so you can uh, analyze, link with those, whatever that you're working things out. Yeah. So these are primary activities and these are supporting activities. Then the value network, whatever you have, like how do you go through certain channels. So probably your fintech connections might come in because they are the people who will be dealing with the end result with your customers to off, and you also have the dealing with the customers. So the value network might be a little bit of a irrelevant to the on a banking sector. Nevertheless, I'm not going to disqualify saying you can't use it, but then you can link it up. Yeah. So that will give you an idea when you work things out, which activities are central important to the organizational strategic capabilities. So what are the strategic capabilities that you have, right? They are looking at reducing number of staff branches and providing the service, and their target audience are different, and where the profit pool comes in, and also what should be outsourced, anything that need to be outsourced, anything that need to be worked outside. uh, there are organizations which has already outsourced their HR activities. Yeah. People might be wondering why, how, but then it's possible, especially their recruitment processes, which might be costly. They don't want to spend their talent pool, their management time there, so they can always get help from the third parties to work things out. The securities could be outsourced. So there are even the buildings could be outsourced, maintenance part. But then you have to be careful, okay? You have to be careful because these are concerned with the security, high security as well, right? So certain things that you can think of, like, whether your infrastructure, whether it is working, whether whatever the things that you require can be worked outsourced. So certain questions can be asked, right? Who might be the best partners in the parts of the value network to supply, to operate, yeah, to deliver. Then you can do the benchmarking. Like, you can do the benchmarking. Number one, internally, you can do historically. Last year, how much did you achieve? This year, how much did they achieve? The numbers, the products, cost per employee, all those things can be done. Then you can do a industry or the sector benchmarking. You can do. Now, this is where I said not to get carried away with comparing yourself with the market leader who is much more bigger than you, because definitely when they are much more bigger, they would have other advantages, major advantages, including the economies of scale and things like that. Okay, so you need to be carefully manage, or carefully allocate, carefully think about it, right? And the best in class benchmarking, probably outside the industry. You don't have to even think of any financial industry. You can even think of manufacturing, how these guys are reaching their customers, how they are moving with their customers, how they are talking to their customers, or whatever it is. Yeah. So probably that's what you could see the card centers outsource. They are you can do certain aspects of it, right? Then activity maps. Now these are linked with the how your competencies are linked with the competitive advantage. Now there's something. It's about an airline. Just to give you a idea how these guys are achieving now. The Southwest Airline is one of the airline which gives them a lower cost carrier. Okay, the lower cost carrier. So how they manage to get that low cost? Yeah, typically using similar type of aircrafts. They have their own mechanics for the aircrafts. Only one class of service, so they don't have to worry about. So people who travel would know, like, they call the business class first and the economy class and the first row. Now that is because they allocated the seats. These guys don't allocate seats at all. First come first serve basis. So you just rush in, you go and get your seat up, and everybody is allowed to carry on your small baggage, unless otherwise they have to pay huge for their baggage to be carried. So you can link it up. You can draw activity map to see how you are achieving your competitive advantage, right? The only issue what I see with this particular thing is, where is the competitive advantage of EB? What is the competitive advantage that EB has? Yeah, so that's where my question mark comes in, right? And finally, you can put all those things, pick it up from strength, weaknesses, and opportunities and threats, and you link that up, so that you would know, like, to create that particular SWOT matrix. You could create that particular link up. Yeah. So that's how it's going to be. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is, like, now it's 8:20. Yeah. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to shift from this particular point before me going into your strategic choices, I'm going to shift into the areas which have been analyzed up to this particular point in the case. Okay. So just hang on for a minute, guys. Give me a minute. I'm shifting my. Custom resource-based view is the same resource-based view what I just explained to you. So that's the same thing. So you are looking through your resources whether where you can get your competitive advantage. That's what I did just now. Right, just a moment. Guys, you can see my presentation. Yeah, right. Good, great. Okay. So that's on the full screen. Yeah, that's on the full screen. I suppose you can see that. Yeah, right. Great. Okay. Um, so you could see I'm putting as one so that I'm starting off the business meeting itself. Uh, Whatever that they are looking. They have talked about the repositioning of EB. That's understood. Okay. They are repositioning the EB. So that's very clearly that they have uh, in the meeting they have already spoken about. Okay. Uh, so on that particular meeting, I got only this particular structure. So I've done the structure accordingly with my knowledge, with the little knowledge what I have. I've done the structure. Okay. So probably chairman inactive is overseas. I added 8 members on a later stage. I found that 8 members are there. Then there is a acting chairman also. So I've just kept it under the chairman because Ranmali is working with Maitri. So that's it went off with. Then you have the CEO Udesh, then Deputy CEO Ranmali again coming in. So Ranmali plays a dual role, I believe. Now this is where your compliances also might be a problem. And you have a compliance officer who is reporting to Udesh directly. Yeah, not through Deputy CEO, directly with Udesh. Then there's a requirement to manage risk. Yeah, with SMEs and MFs. Uh, then there was question raised by with regard to drop of profits. So there is again immediately you can identify there's a there's a weakness, that's profit drop is there. And the CEO's reaction was interesting. So that's probably because Ranmali asking the question as an acting chairman or deputy CEO. That's where the question comes in. All issues starts up. So that's on. So this is where you could see the drop in profits, 15.45%, fairly big, whereas other banks have been doing extremely well. comparatively. So now this particular wording is coming very often. Renewed focus on balancing growth. Renewed focus on balancing growth with sound management. Sound risk management is now urgent. So there is very clearly there is an issue. The growth is also affected. There is a risk management. Risk is also that's issue. So the numbers serve as an early warning. So obviously the profits have dropped. So they have to rethink the current expansion strategies. So we have to see what these expansion strategies are when you go on with and consider the sustainability of future earnings. So balancing investment in expensive digital transformation projects with near term. So they are now probably, I'm not very clear, to be very honest, what it meant by the expansion strategy. Expansion strategy, probably any investment that they are making off with, or whether they want to grow somewhere else, whether they want to move out to somewhere else, whether they want to merge, acquire, maybe looking aggressively to become big. So that's what the expansion is for me. So let's see how it goes. Okay, so up to now I don't have any. Maybe later on I have, but then up to now I don't have anything to go off with. Now this is where my problem comes in. I try to list out, because as I said, like, I'm more interested in your SWOT matrix to be cleared. Okay, SWOT matrix to be cleared, because that's something I want you all to have it with you all. Okay, so because that is how you can get your alternative strategies worked out, right? So Ranmali, if you see, I've marked 1 and 2, you can see in end of the statements. Now those are coming from respective topics. Okay, so 1 means, like, on your first area, right? How to effectively manage pricing NPL risk in SME and microfinance portfolios without sacrificing growth aspiration. Now, thinking of that itself, identifying that itself is a strength. Okay, so that is what I feel. So Ranmali, whether it's a strength, that's a question mark there. But pretty bold, pretty open about everything, and even asking questions from the CEO on the drop of profits. So probably that's one of the reason I put she has a strength for me. Okay, because probably you need somebody like that, who would have certain things. Now guys, you all can always put that person as a weakness also. uh, Probably it's too fast. You could see that. Okay, when you go on, you will see that, a fast change, people don't like it, and things like that also taking place. So that could be an issue as well. Okay, income grew by 2% through wealth management initiatives. Again, I'm considering as a strength, because there is a alternative way that they have found through wealth management. That's some new product, new service area that the banks could consider. Whether it is enough, yeah, whether it is enough, right? Uh, Want to identify the way forward again in the board meeting, right? The second area talks about earn community trust. So the bank diversified its revenue based by introducing wealth management services. So you can see that the bank is not typically going, they want to work on the typical banking sector, but then they are diversifying it. So diversifying is your ANSOF matrix. new product, new market. Yeah. So probably they are capturing wealth management as a new product with going into a new markets. Apart from their investors, apart from the people who are there, they are trying to get some other new people who want to invest on that. Yeah. And also they are looking at that's one. They're looking at digital lending platforms. Now this is where the issue is also uh, with a strategic push into green finance products. Yeah. So green finance products. So that was said on the second area. That's what I put at 2. Uh, leadership transition have contributed to evolving corporate governance profiles and shifts in strategic priorities. I put that as a plus on one aspect, um, because there is a leadership transition which has taken evolved in the corporate governance, right? Uh, they are happy with their resource allocation. One of the important point in resource allocation is your resource allocation should be relevant to the um, to where it is allocated. So that means, like, the higher revenue portfolios or higher revenue products are being allocated with proper resources so that they could get better return from those products. Yeah. So they are happy with that. The bank leverages partnership with fintech firms to expand digital payments and loan platforms. Um, Audit and risk committees were recently enhanced to include independent external experts. So probably this is something after the issues that they had, they have already corrected it. So that means, like, that's why I put as a plus point. Yeah. So, and EB benefits from a diverse, technically competent and experienced team. Diverse, technically competent and experienced team. So that's one of the reasons that you can reduce your costs. Your experience counts. You're technically competent as well. People who are working there is technically competent. So probably you have very good soldiers. Okay, you have very good soldiers, but the weapons that you have provided to them is outdated. So that means the issue lies with you, not with your employees. Yeah. So the issues lies with the organization of not providing the uh, weapons to uh, suit their capabilities, right? So you would have a resource problem, especially the physical resources, not the human resources. So you will have a resource problem. Now these are the things that you can keep it in mind. Okay, what you need to work things out, right? So out of this, that's something what I picked up from. The weakness, again, profit drop, higher loan impairment charges. Uh, Nobody asked the question of what do you mean by that higher loan impairment charges. Okay, so let me quickly go to that and come back again. Uh, okay, yeah, you go. So impairment. Um, so loan impairment charges are accounting expenses lender records when a loan's value decreases. So now the reasons being economic downturns, recession, reduce borrowers' ability to pay, uh, borrower specific issues, probably job loss, business loss, or financial distress of the borrower, uh, sector specific problems, a downturn in a particular industry like real estate or tech or even the banking industry, whatever banking industry are doing extremely well. Changes in credit quality, deterioration in the borrower's creditworthiness over time. So these are 4 areas which could lead to impairment. Yeah. So something strike me now this might continue to do so because now the borrower specific issues might come in. Now the people who have borrowed probably, whether they are on a financial distress uh, due to the job loss of due to DITWA, the business failure issues, um, anything on that nature could aggravate this as well. So what you could do generally in a general circumstances, okay, in general circumstances, the options available for you to mitigate or to try and solve this is, number one, strengthen the risk management. Now you could see why even in the case that they are talking about managing risk, right? So one of the biggest, one of the critical aspect of the impairment management is strengthen the risk management. So adopt a comprehensive risk assessment frameworks that include stress testing and diversification strategies away from sectors most vulnerable to currency fluctuations. So probably uh, your uh, loans, leasing, so you need to be careful on that. Focus on digital transformation. Now, this is another reason why bank is moving on to digital transformation. Yeah, because now that's a solution that they have given it. Okay, that is a solution that they have worked out to see leverage fintech innovations such as automated loan processing systems or AI-driven risk assessment tools to streamline operations, reduce cost, and improve decision making in loan approvals. Guys, is this the same wordings that is been there in your case? Yeah, same similar things. Now these companies can provide XYZ. Now these are the things that they can provide, and these are things that they are going into. These are things that they are working on with. Can you see now? This is now. I got this from one of the the banking magazines and from the net. I can share you the source also. So this is like giving you that uh, uh, exactly what they have to do for the impairment. So these guys are taking things into taking the right direction, right? But the only problem where they're facing is that's their weak technology that what they have. If you're with me, yeah, the base what they have. So probably they might have to change their systems, right? Explore alternative revenue streams. Banks should consider diversifying their income source beyond traditional lending, such as expanding into what wealth management, advisory services, or digital banking solution. Now, can you see? Now, to solve this impairment, probably, okay. Now, this is my analysis. Now, when I look into what is impairment and I ask the question like, now you all can do the same thing, okay, guys? Go to net, ask that question, what is impairment, and ask like, how do you solve it? How do you mitigate this impairment? Yeah, yeah. That's one of the weakness. Taraka, that is one of the weakness. I totally agree with you. Okay, I totally agree with you. Right. So now this is now if there is no problem, then you're not going to do this case. Okay. So there is problem. Absolutely. Okay. Right. Absolutely. Totally agree. Right. But I want you to see the connections. Okay. Why these things are happening. Right. And they put you on a they gave you some information about impairment, and you can see very clearly they are now these are the things that actually to do for this impairment management. Yeah, and they're doing it, right? So keep that in mind, guys. I can give you the details of the site where I found this as well. So keep that in mind. Yeah, right. Hang on for a minute. Okay. Um, So challenge to profitability. So obviously, I totally agree with Taraka about the cash issues. Profitability pressure is there. CEO not comfortable being questioned. So probably a hierarchical issue. Very strange because uh, a guy who has studied in the UK and with a master's, uh, UK this hierarchy issue is I don't know, or is it a person specific problem? I'm not sure. But with a background to for me to see, like, probably Ranmali is too young, or maybe not matured enough, or maybe try to so my putting up Ranmali as a strength might be wrong, might be, yeah. So now this is where you need to, so you need to keep that there. Probably you can even keep it as a weakness. I I don't know, but why I'm keeping that is, like, when I see the unseen, then I will know where do I put Ranmali in, right? Because these are the two people who are uh, driving this case. Okay. So there is governance allegation. There is governance allegation, uh, exposing the bank to complex governance and risk challenges. So there is a network of 43 branches across Sri Lanka by the third quarter of 2025. Now, I give, give me a minute. Now, this is where I went and found, what are the numbers in the bank. Just give me a minute. Yeah. Okay. This is from your central bank. Okay. This is from central bank details. This is what I read couple of minutes, last hour or whatever it is. So tell me, 43 branches, is it okay? Is it acceptable? Is it reasonable? Is it fine? So I'm dropping it that as a uh, weakness, because I don't see that uh, your categories, except the Amana Bank is a kind of a specialized bank, isn't it? So except Cargill's, you're you're not fitting into any particular area, which is also good. If you don't fit also, it's pretty good, right? So I'm dropping this as a weakness, simply because probably I don't have enough branches for people to come in. Now that is the reason probably I'm going on digital banking also, so that I could uh, tell, I could reach more numbers, right? Now, saying so, saying so, then I have another issue. I don't have much details about this, where these 43 branches, and it says across Sri Lanka, right? Then we are looking at urban population, not rural population. So are we having it in all urban areas? Yeah. Are we having it in urban areas? Are we having it in, mm, yeah? Are we having it in urban areas? Are we having it in rural areas? So banking for all, and we are restricting, these are few things that you need to uh, consider. Yeah. So you have a legacy IT constraint, intense scalability, that you can't do anything with that. This has been coming up every time. EB's profitability is weakened due to rising operating expenses and loan impairments linked to deteriorating SME and microfinance portfolios. So microfinance and SME portfolios are weak. Now again, I have an issue. You want to concentrate on urban, and now you're talking about microfinance. Microfinance in urban, is it rural microfinancing, urban also you have microfinance? Bit of a confusion. Okay. So probably you're trying to work everything out. Yeah. Only very few of them have specific banking or risk management expertise. That is your board people. Yeah. Only very few has this risk management uh, expertise. So there's a clash between CEO and deputy CEO, who is the acting chairperson. Uh, Limited resources and outdated modeling tools, which will not give them what they want. Low staff morale and fear of redundancy. Now, see, now this is the dangerous thing. Huh? This is one of the issues when I see with the people concerned. You have diverse team, you have technically highly experienced team, and highly experienced team. Then with them you have a low morale, fear of redundancy due to digitization. Yeah. So that is like you are not managed them properly. Yeah. Lacks a unified version how to balance risk, prudence, and strategic innovation. You could very clearly see the board meetings. Now, this is what they are asking as well. Okay. Um, the contrasting styles and the clash between two characters. So, board meetings increasingly reflect this duality. Okay. While one camp pushes for agility, modernization, the other insists on regulatory caution and incremental reform. Independent directors have expressed concern. So you can see this issues over there. Uh, Family influence, that is chairman, acting chairman, deputy CEO. Yeah. Um, and executive disagreements may blur accountability lines at the top. Um, Ranmali, I'm I like Pranmali's style of management, so probably I put as a strength. Yeah, I'm giving you reasons also. Okay, so champion gender diversity, digital inclusion, aligning EB sustainability agenda with Central Bank of Sri Lanka's sustainable finance roadmap, um, vision for advanced risk transfer mechanism, and enterprise wide. So you could see, I put that as a strength. Okay, who Ranmali is. Then on the weakness, probably too fast. The change is too fast. Uh, the traditionalists are not, with them. So within the management team, including the CEO, so probably that's a weakness. Uh, no, you can just forget it, but then where the problem is like, I don't think she would be working as of a autocratic aspect of it, not even consulting the CEO. So that's where the problem comes in as well. Just give me a moment, guys. I'll move this slide. Right. So Udesh, on the other hand, I've given some strengths for him. He prefers more cautious approach, conservative and compliance-driven leadership style. So two different styles, okay? Two different styles. prioritize stability, liquidity, discipline, and regulatory compliances. Probably that is the call of the hour now, immediately. Under its tenure, EB successfully preserved its credit rating and maintained operational continuity through periods of liquidity stress, volatile market conditions. Now, those are all threats. Okay, those are all threats. So Udesh philosophy emphasizes measured growth and governance prudence. So clash with Ranmali's reformist agenda, I'm putting it as a weakness. Probably you can manage it, I believe. Yeah. Uh, for guys who are not agreeing with what I'm saying, probably you all are welcome because you all can have your own ideas. Uh, I'll come to your questions in a little while. So which created tactical friction. Now this is what the uh, non-executive directors didn't like it. Yeah, independent directors didn't like it. Then leading to slower execution. Now this is the danger. This is the biggest weaknesses. Okay, leading to uh, slower execution of strategic initiatives, and also mixed perception amongst the employees about the bank's future direction. Like you get up and come in the morning to the bank and you don't know whether you will lose your job. One, number two, don't know whether how these guys are going to grow, so that will impact my career growth as well as my family, because in case these guys send me home, then I will lose my job, and no revenue for me. And also we don't know, because of this clash taking place, probably now by this time the bank could have been divided into two as well, okay, or maybe three, right? uh, so a lot of insecure feeling within the bank. Yeah, they introduced the HR manager later on, I don't know why. Right. Okay, so now Maitri, you see the last line, the Maitri is quite happy about it. Yeah. So he believes that both, Ranmali's and Nudesh's approach, both the EV will benefit. Yeah, he is happy. I that is the feeling that I also might have, but you need to manage. You can't just be happy and do nothing about it. Allow these people to clash and allow the fight to go on, and then you have to set some priorities. You have to have accept both and work towards the rest of the story also. Nicely that they are talking about. Uh, they were looking at the the growth as well as uh, carefulness, right? Both has to be taken care of. Um, this is a work in progress, perspective. Uh, I I have not got any up to this particular point. I have not got any opportunities very clearly. Okay, but then I like to create certain things where the strategic gap is the strategic gap where that's why I want to see uh, I'm trying to place these guys in a position where uh, their style of operation, their portfolio, whether it is matching with Cargill, whether it is matching with Union Bank, whether it is matching with other banks which has very limited portfolio with limited branch network, and they are onto a similar kind of a market. What are the areas that they are matching? So I want you to look into that, then see whether they're also approaching the similar market, similar socio-economic segments. If they are also approaching the socio-economic segments, why don't you look at something very different? Now, Toyota is onto a cost leadership strategy. That's how they captured the market. That's how they went onto the market. So they offered a affordable pricing by reducing the cost to the minimum level and providing a quality vehicle also, right? For that particular price factor, price point, it was excellent. They realized that even at that particular point that they have been branded in the consumer's mind as the cheap quality vehicle, they went to another extreme, delivering Lexus. So if they are looking at a market where low middle income urban population, if its competitors or if it is strategic group people also are looking at the similar market and not offering any other extreme high value products, why don't these guys offer something different? Now this is a question I'm trying to pose to you all, okay? An opportunity. So untapped market in other socio-economic sector. Untapped market. Probably there might be competition coming from the bigger players. So you grab about 5%, 3%, 4%, 10%. Give a fantastic service. Yeah. Give a best of value service. And then see what happens. High valued customers that you are looking at. Right. And opportunities for there is opportunity is coming up with the uh, HSBC and Standard Chartered moving away from the retail banking. Yeah, they already handing over their accounts to other banks, but then they are moving away. So there are people who would want to look for that kind of a service. Think about it, whether the, this particular strategic group, in that particular strategic group, whether these people have been offering. So um, for example, uh, why there is much less uh, American Express credit cards compared to uh, Master and Visa cards. 1:27 is the ratio, the combination. Why is that? And what happened? What is the return? Yeah, is a threefold revenue for American Express than the combined Master and Visa revenue. So taking on the high caliber, high end people, I'm just giving you an opportunity to create. Okay, think of it. So we finish that empowerment. Okay, fee income again. They are talking about some fee income for the bank revenue, uh, various services and products like account maintenance, overdrafts, ATM usage, credit card fees, wealth management. They are talked about. I think talked about credit card in India. I can't remember. Wealth management, transaction processing, etc. Yeah. Uh, the second topic for this in on your case is like they're looking at they're talking what the bank is. Yeah. So they are looking at established 1992. 1992. Then 84 was the start. So they are almost there for 41 years. Yeah, 42 years in existence. Then 92. So that is about 34, 35 years of seizable public float, 30% equity. Retail, small and medium sized entrepreneurs, and wealth management clients. Uh, so this is where they are earn trust and things like that. What's mentioned. Retail, small and medium size entrepreneurs. The recent years have seen efforts grow through digital transformation. They're talking about it, but still it is not in a high scale. Acquisition of microfinance portfolios, exposing the bank to complex governance and risk challenges. So these are the major concerns also. Yeah, network of 43 branches across Sri Lanka by third quarter 2025. That's why I put this particular chart to see whether it is a strength or a weakness, and comparatively to other banks, what they are doing. Now they're given the vision and the mission statement. I saw a comment whether that they are not in line with the vision statement or the mission statement to go off with, which I would agree. So to the bank, to be the bank that communities trust the most for providing a wide range of financial services. So my question was, have they achieved their vision? To be that communities trust the most for providing a wide range of financial services. The most, I don't know, they have achieved the trust part, the most part, I don't know. So, um, growth and financial well-being through banking for all. Growth and financial well-being for banking for all. Now, it's a bit of a question mark. I I'm not, maybe a redrafted uh, mission statement might come in with your unseen. I'm not sure, but then for me the vision and the mission. So very clearly, when you're only targeting one particular segment or two segments, then your mission can't be banking for all. No, now that is what uh, the gentleman, or I can't remember who, I just glanced it, said it's not matching with the mission. Absolutely right. Absolutely right. Yeah. Uh, Care and compassion. We build lasting relationships through honest, fairness, accountability. I'm reading the trust and integrity part. Community spirit. We invest in people, supporting local development and shared prosperity. We provide clear, accessible. So they're talking about urban, but then they talk about we invest in people, supporting local development and shared prosperity. Okay. We create value together, working with our customers, employees, and partners. Sustainability, we prioritize responsible practices to protect the future of people. Not bad. Working on something. 1,205 employees by the end of 2024. So the bank targets a middle income, urban and semi-urban population. This is this is where I got this figure. The third figure you can see. 2024, our rural population is 80.6. So fundamentally, it is dropping, but for 12 years it has dropped 1.2%. So fundamentally, you're leaving a seizable population and fighting in a market with 19.4% of the population, you're fighting in the market with other major players. So probably you're looking at a red ocean strategy rather than looking at a blue ocean strategy. Now, this is what I wanted to emphasize earlier. Guys, I'm challenging you all, okay? I'm not firmly saying, but then I'm throwing some ideas into your mind, because these are facts. The rural population, this is from World Bank. Rural population is 80.6. So that means urban population is 19.4. You're fighting with all the big players in the market. You're targeting middle income. Okay, you're not even targeting high income. And rightly, how you all contradicted with me by saying whether it is in line with the mission statement. No, because you want to provide services for all, right? So probably then your mission has to be changed. You have already achieved the trust in the community. I don't know whether it's the most trust, but then again, that is also controversial. And very nicely put, whether these governance issues will hamper the trust. So that means you're back to ground zero, then you have to build it again. Yeah. And it's very difficult if that happens to a banking industry. Yeah. So uh, this is where my thought on lines of how the growth could come in, where we need to uh, manage the controversies, manage the governance issue, manage the other issues, and where we could look at the growth part of it. Yeah. Um, Retail banking, 45% of the revenue comes from retail banking still. Yeah. So revenue streams are diversified but still heavily reliant on net interest income, with ongoing initiatives to boost fee-based income. That's why I gave you what are the fee-based revenues through wealth and asset management services. So there is opportunity for uh, increasing that. They are very clear about where they stand. That itself is good. So they know the retail banking is 45%. Now I would want you to go and um, um, search for other banks this revenue mix. Yeah, in the annual reports you might find it, um, and see whether that is in line with the industry mix, or whether our bank is something very extraordinary, right? Um, you have a 30% portfolio of SME, yeah? SME lending 30%. So your revenue is 30% coming from the SME lending. So that's a sizable amount, right? Wealth management has increased. Yeah. And digital banking is also has gone up by 10%, right? Which are welcome, which are pretty uh, good to see, right? Which are pretty good to see. Third area, leadership background. Eknath and Maitri. Eknath died. Then that 15% of Eknath's share transferred to his daughter. Uh, we don't know how much Maitri holds. Is it? I don't know. I'm not sure because I have not read anything on there. So 15%, generally 15% is uh, chairman's share transferred to his daughter, who is an MBA holder and attorney at law as well. Maintain a public float of 30% since 1992 that we know. Current board directors includes 8 members with backgrounds in science, engineering, law, agriculture. Current board directors, um, executive, non-executive, I don't know. However, only very few of them have specific banking and risk management expertise, which I already said. The following whistleblower allegations about governance failure. The compliance officer Bianca reports to CEO. Udesh joined EB 2015, just after his master's education in UK. In 2025, Maitri approved appointment of Ranmali as the deputy CEO. So everything has happened very close, within very close calls. Okay. So 2015, by 10 years, he has been already managing. Uh, so during his tenure, he would have had this whistleblower issue as well. Yeah. Management team includes 4 GM, 3 AGMs. So we are not, they are given some names of C-suite managers, but then whether they are GMs or AGMs, not sure. So my structure is also a bit questionable. I'm just leaving. I'm taking from that particular lead to go on to build that organization structure. Yeah. Uh, Ranmali also champion gender diversity, which is required. Uh, Sri Lanka Central Bank's sustainable finance roadmap, where you're talking about digital inclusion. Aligning is with sustainability agenda. Rapid change issue. um, Udesh, conservative, compliance driven leadership. Uh, so you could see what Udesh's plus points are during that particular management aspect of it. So I still got some information, like head of human capital is coming from the next one, I think. So I have included that also. That 4 GMs, I don't know. Okay, 4 GMs, I don't know, and even 3 DGMs whom they are reporting to also, I don't know. So obviously, on a normal structure, I've taken that as uh, compliance officers separately. We know that directly report to CEO, head of human capital, then uh, chief risk officer. Sorry, not risk, is a risk officer. Um Right now it looks better, I think. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I'm purposely I'm drawing this structure. I would love you all to have this structure in your mind, uh, how it goes, so that you can fill in the blanks. I'm sure there will be some more names and some more positions might be applicable on the other areas, which I'm updating on this. Okay, because if you need to have a change, probably if you're looking at a structural change, then you might need to have the structure and suggest the type of change that it requires. Okay, so you can see Radmani's name appearing in two places, two contrasting, challenging places. Yeah, so you need to, I don't know, maybe probably acting chairman becomes deputy chairman or whatever it is. So removing the deputy CEO position, um, or COO position up on the CEO's level. I'm not sure, okay, how it works. So I don't know, maybe on your unseen CEO resigns, okay. So you never know, okay, right. So the fourth area, I want you to uh, just to recap the strategy aspect of it, okay? Strategy aspect of it. So a strategy statement, now this way I'm trying to link the theoretical aspect here. Strategy statement should have three main themes. One, your fundamental goals, where you want to, what you want to achieve. Okay. So that you can see from your mission and your objectives. Unfortunately, we don't have any objectives given up to this particular point, right? But we know some objectives without any specific dates or figure, that they want to have the sustainability growth with, mixing both, the growth and careful, both, right? So that need to be identified. And number two, the strategy statement would contain the scope or the area where the organization activity is going to be. And also the strategy statement would contain uh, a particular advantages or capabilities it has to deliver all of this, right? So that's why we did the internal analysis of that particular bank. So you would identify and understand that particular area, right? Now, it very clearly says to sustain growth, digital transformation. Now, here they are talking about, I'm breaking it up, okay? So the goal, the product what they want to sell is mobile banking and online loan origination platforms. Now, we saw that mitigation of the impairment, it's going to be with this one of the digital transformation issues, transformation mode, right? Also, this digital transformation is same as the competition. Competition also have that. So there is nothing. Now, all this time, they didn't have it. So that means that would have been one of the biggest weakness. And now they are going to have it. So digital transformation to take place, right? So the market scope is going to be, the people whom they are going to cover is tech savvy customers and reduce dependent on physical branches. So that can come on the advantage. Okay. So their market scope is going to be tech savvy customers. Tech savvy customers are the market. That's their scope. Now that's the digital transformation is coming from that. Where is their problem? Where is the impairment is coming from? Impairment is coming from microfinancing and other SMEs. Now you see the contradiction there. So guys, the issue of the impairment is for them is coming from the already their the portfolio what they have, where SMEs and their microfinance issues. That's where the problem is. Now these guys are going in for digital transformation, pursuing mobile banking and online loan origination platforms to target tech-savvy customers. So probably whether the tech-savvy customers are the people who are microfinance and the other SME sector, we don't know. Right. So the advantage, or how are they going to deliver that advantage, is reduce reliance on branch-based banking while improving efficiency and convenience. So that means the operational cost, they want to bring it down. So that's how they are going to bring that, deliver this, the strategy through reducing the operational cost and reduce the branch based banking reliance, uh, deliver this digital transformation to the tech savvy customers. That's one year strategy. Then sustainability linked lending products. That's your next strategy. Earlier one was a digital transformation. The next strategy that they are looking at is, now this is from the strategy, I'm breaking it down. Okay. So the market is going to be commercial clients. Now, where are they, um, whom they were targeting earlier? Middle income people. Now they are, now this is the target. Now this is where I said, like, uh, where you are looking at a blue ocean strategy, the strategic gap where your kind of banks have not gone into. Now these guys are going to there. Commercial clients seeking favorable terms while promoting environmental responsibility, who can put in their website that they are carbon neutral, zero emission, electricity is being generated by solar panels. So they are the people who are targeting them. What is the product? Sustainability linked loans offering attractive terms to business that implement environmentally responsible practices such as renewable energy adoption and energy efficient operations. These initiatives not only meet regulatory encouragement for sustainable lending, but also open new opportunities with corporate clients seeking to enhance their environmental credentials. Guys, can you see? Now, these guys were fighting with that 19.4% of the market. Now, with this particular product, identifying the gap, these guys are now moving into a different market segment. Agreeing, not agreeing, you can decide, yeah. So this is how I see, right? This is how I see how it works. So I'm throwing some ideas into you all, right? Because the way that they want to grow, they have given on two perspectives. One is digital transformation, the other one is sustainable linked lending products. To the sustainable growth, EB acquired 61% of the controlling stake of Loft Microfinance, right? In 2023, Loft is a small player in the rural credit market. 80.6. 80.6. Yeah, 80.6 market share. 80.6 population. Okay, rural credit market. To expand its footprint and build stronger customer base. This acquisition is intended to accelerate financial inclusion in underserved rural areas, a strategic priority in Sri Lanka's banking and finance industry. However, integration challenges soon emerge, including cultural differences, mismatched operation systems, and difficulties in managing microfinance assets with higher default risk. So that means they are not ready. They were not ready, but they have acquired it. These issues highlight the complexities of post-acquisition consolidation, particularly when moving into niche segment like rural microfinance. Once again, they have gone into a different market. This is where the diversification is. New market, new product. They don't know about the product. They don't know about the market. Rural areas, rural market, microfinance, which they are not gone. Now they have gone by acquiring 61% controlling stake. Yeah. And now they face the problem, obviously. Yeah. To increase that issues, the consolidation, there are mismatch operating systems, and difficult to manage the high default risk assets. Um, I took this from Government of LK statistics. That is to show you the income in urban, rural, and estate. Only look at the mean income. That will give you the idea. Other one is like for statistical purposes that they are done, uh, confidence level and the CVs and things like that. So that's okay. Right. So that will give you an idea uh, how much loan that you can give, how much loan that you can work off with, what is the uh, so 69%, 60% has to be take home. So let's say 70,000, 70,000, that means 42,000 has to be taken out. 28 up to 28,000 you can give a loan. Yeah. So that's monthly. That provided that he doesn't have any, he or does not have any other loans taken. Yeah. 40%, up to 40% you can reduce on the loan payment. Yep. So whether that 42,000 is enough to live is another issue, right? So roughly, now these are the things that you can go and make decisions. You can support your uh, evidences when you take decisions. You can talk on that particular line, so that this will give you the supporting evidence to work things out, right? So we'll start with this. Thanks for being, patient listeners and good commenting people. I can see your comments and awareness of the case very well. I see this badge is, this set of people, you're you're already there, right? Yes, I will take these questions, guys, about the Neo Bank and Grey Finance. I will definitely explain to you next time, at least tomorrow. I will tell you what it is, and let me just see what are the other things which is coming in. Okay, this is one of the good questions. Uh, Safe criteria, whether it is a strategic choice or action. So it is when you recommend it. So that means, like, when you're recommending uh, what action to be taken. So probably you can, now out of the strategic choices, let's say you have about 5 choices and you are recommending one. So when you're now, that's how you can recommend that one. So probably what you will do is you can take one other choice and then you can see that whether it fits the SAF criteria and then recommends it. New channels like digital channels. Yes, of course. Yes, correct. Um, is it core competency that are focused on SME and microfinance? They are. Is it a core competency that they are focused on SME and microfinance sector and they have gained the trust on customers? I am having a little bit of difficulty understanding that question. Reword it, Chatriya. Like, yeah, you're right, Vinny. That could be taken as that as well. Hmm. I will talk about this shareholder percentage tomorrow. I'll keep that in mind. Yeah, you're correct. Now that's why I'm putting that Virakon, you're right. That's why that is the reason I'm putting that as on the chart so that it's easily viable so you can make those changes. Um, Good question, Anuradha. Are loan impairment charges due to external factor? How it become a weakness? Simple as that. You're not mitigated it. Okay. You're not managed those. You are not capable of managing those external factors. So that means so you don't have a process or any other resources to manage that. Now one of the reason is that you didn't have the digitalization aspect of it earlier. Now you're going to have it. Okay, so that's why it is. So if you don't have to manage, yeah. Now say for example, um, cost of food prices are going up outside. You have your salary and you are finding it difficult to manage it. If you have, if you can change your lifestyle, then you can manage it. Yeah, so that's like something on similar. Increasing viewpoint strategic controversy. Yeah, Cousin, you're right. Expansion of traditional bank network and digital banking infusion is increasingly viewed as a point strategic controversy. Obviously. Sorry, Chamidu, I just saw you can't see the slide. Hopefully, you can see the slide now, or you might have to log in and come out again. Sometime that happens. Gaishan, you have to tell me why. Okay, you have to tell me why personal banking. Uh, why? What is the option? Do you have enough resources? Do you have enough things to work things out? Banking sector cost leadership cannot be applied. Uh, why not? Why not? Why not? Can be applied. Yeah, can be applied. The subsidiary covers rural areas, but again, I remember case states that Loftus very limited research. Yes, Loftus very limited research. Yes, that's absolutely true. Um, function structure and division structure both can be visible. Yeah. Not having digital service such as mobile banking can reflect TB in strategy drift. Uh, what is strategic drift? It's a very, very important aspect of it. Strategic drift is that you don't understand the changes which is made in the environment, and you don't respond to it. So if the mobile banking is already is in requirement and you don't change it, and that's something, your if you don't accept that, that's a requirement, then you have a problem. So you if you're not change according to the industry changes, then definitely that gap becomes more. You're right. Yeah, I will explain that new banking, green banking. uh, yes. Aish, that's a very good question. Yeah, same tunes and how we pitch the answers differently to the past exams. Uh, you don't have to you be truthful to yourself. Now, say for example, if I ask you to write a essay about going to Kandy, every student in this particular session knows where is Kandy, is how to travel to Kandy, but everybody will take a different pathways. Okay, so the um, and as a marking plan, we will have a guideline. um, okay, uh, have the student taken the external consideration, the convenience, the easiness? Has she considered, has the student considered the budget, the budget of traveling, whether, so right, say one student would say, my way of traveling is car, because it costed so much, petrol cost is this, so 5 people traveling in that particular vehicle, going up and down on my vehicle, it will cost only 20 liters of petrol, which is 6,000 rupees. So which is like going per person is 1,200 rupees. If I had to travel by bus, it is the cost, but which I had to do this. If I travel by train, this is the issue. Environmental issues are there, that issue is there. So I will use the car. Some will say, I will take the bus because for me, my house in Kandy is located right next to, before I reach Kandy, on the roadside itself. So I can get off at that particular point. Much convenient, easy. I don't have to go through the struggle of, driving myself. I will use the bus, and that will cost me so much. Simple as that. Okay. Now, that is how you can pass the exam, not by saying I'm using bus without any consideration, without any, I'm using car, full stop. No. Give evidence, give details. That's why I'm giving you all this information also. Give evidence, give details. You support your arguments with facts. Yeah, you support your arguments with what is available in the case. Now, what is the information available in the case are facts. What is available are facts. That can change. Okay, that can change. So you prepare a complete SWOT. That is absolutely good enough, to be very honest, I'm telling you. Okay, with all these details in your mind, with all these details, your income rates, your percentage of the population, urban population, percentage of this, percentage of that, what others have done, getting, now all those things are facts, isn't it? So your answers supported by facts will definitely pass you off. Yes, Shani. I too. Okay, I too agree with you. A lot of information. Uh, that is why I'm breaking into this 12. Yeah, that is the best way to break in 12. Absorb maximum possible in the 12. Okay, uh, no, it's don't do anything else. Don't do anything else. Yeah. Um, uh, yes, leasing, that's another area. Leasing, another area. So again, it will be another me too player. Yeah. So that's what I said, like, my strategic group, who are the other players in the strategic group and what are the products that they have. Are they doing that? If they are doing it, then let me also do this. If they're not, then let me do this. It will be better. Yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah, definitely, definitely. This NPL might come in. NPL might definitely come in with this recent floods. So, look, guys, I'm not. I To be very honest, I can't comment on the unseen, um, because I don't know whether the unseen is already prepared. Okay. Um, or whether unseen will be updated. I don't know because I don't get involved in that, so I don't know anything about it, right? So sometimes, since the unseen is already prepared a month ago or whatever, then um, you know they it might come without it. I'm not confirming anything here. Yeah. But on the other hand, um, they have pushed this into January, so probably they might include that data, right? So um, I'm not what do you call denying, or I'm not taking anything into that. Okay, so probably they might, uh, if it is so, they might, uh, and there might be opportunity that they might not have also. So don't know. Yeah, presentation and video possible. Um, Presentation will be available to you tomorrow itself on your portal. I will be sending it across to Aruna. Aruna will be updating it. Yeah. Uh, Strategic drift is if you don't identify and understand and make the necessary changes in what is happening in the environment in the strategic drift. So tomorrow I will talk about the strategic drift a little bit more. Yeah. Can you use the information from the external sources? Of course, yes. Of course, yes. You can use definitely you can use the external sources. There's no second question about it. Whatever is relevant to the industry, whatever relevant and whatever the recommendation that you need to support of, absolutely use it, but give with evidence. Okay, give with evidence. Don't give any just statements, right? So that's why I'm maximum as possible. I'm trying to show you from where I got this evidence. Also, give with evidence, right? So this is not something. Uh, yeah, yeah, you can use, definitely you can use. That's why they are given you the pre-seen paper for you to get prepared. So you can get prepared from the sources. Absolutely, please go ahead. No issues. um, I said I can't predict anything. What areas they can add the impact of Ditwa. Obviously, NPL definitely they can add without any problems. Okay, easily they can add, but then I don't know whether they will add or whether they will just say nothing happened, no impact or whatever it is. So they are most of the area, most of the things were not in the central district. It was all down south or whatever, so there's no major impact, blah blah blah. They might just cut it off. Yeah, so you never know. That was okay. That's something. That's about it. Okay, guys. So I'll catch you all tomorrow at 6:30. So try and be around 6:30 maximum as possible, because we'll be just starting and going on. Um, uh, Tomorrow also I expect around this time or a little bit later than this to finish things off. Um, or you might finish early if you all don't ask any questions. I'll be I'll be not happy at all. But then so let's see how it goes. Yeah. So let's see how it goes. We will try and capture whatever the possible. So rest of the um, 8 areas we will try and finish it off tomorrow. Yeah. Right. Thanks, guys. Take care. God bless. Have a pleasant evening.